Hi, so I thought I would make a video and share a craft share for anybody that's looking to do something really easy for maybe graduation or a summer gift or shower gift or bridal or whatever. Just Mother's Day, whatever. Let me get comfortable here. Sitting all crooked. Okay. So I've been reading the Knitting Bible here, and I found a couple of really cool stitches, and I made some videos on different patterns. One video I made was called Crest Wave, which there's a ton of videos out there for it, but I did a different border on it, which was called Callaway Frill, and it just looked really cool with it. So I'm going to upload that one as soon as I can. I have to edit it. But while I was looking at the Crest Wave, I was comparing it to what I saw in the Knitter's Bible, because a lot of times things that they say in the books and the Treasury of Knitting or whatever, I'll find it a little bit different out here on YouTube or wherever, DIYs and stuff. So this is called Little Waves, and I found it by looking up Cresta Waves. And Cresta Waves is a variation of Old Shale, Fan and Feather, Fan and Ridge Feather, and I'm trying to think what else is Old Shale, Fan and Feather Ridge. I can't remember the other one. I'll think of it. It's just not coming to me right now. Okay, I'll think of it. But anyways, so I was looking up I was comparing the patterns, and I came across a channel called PleasantSeas. That's the name of the channel. Capital PLEASENTS, capital SEASES, all one word. And she has the most beautiful pattern stitches that she shows, and this is one she was showing. The only thing I did different is I added a border on the bottom and on the sides. It's worked up in multiples of 11. I'm using the yarn I'm using is a 3-ply weight yarn. It's a super thin 3. It's very light. It's Bernay Shimmer Soft, and it really does split and break up a lot because it's very soft. It's 50% acrylic, and I want to say, no, 75% acrylic, and the remainder is aplysia and acrylic. No, cotton, acrylic, and aplysia. I'll get the band and put the information up, but it's Bernay Shimmer Soft, and this is called French Vanilla Cream. It doesn't look like it's French vanilla here, but I'll give you a comparison. This here is white. Let me put it over here. Light is really, okay, well, there you can see it. That is 100% cotton. Aunt Lydia's white that I'm going to make a hat for myself with. And this one here is shimmer. So you can see it there. Now you can see it. Okay. So this is like a buttercream French vanilla, and that's white. So the lady I'm making this for, it's more for a summer gift. But it's about all I could wrap my head around today to do was something simple. I have some Mother's Day gifts I'm making, but I work better under pressure, so I'll probably be when my creative, I don't know, does better under a deadline. So I'll probably start working up a gift I'm working on for somebody for Mother's Day. I'll probably get that done, like, I don't know, Sunday night. I probably won't see her until like next week or something, but I'll be rushing to get it done this way. And this is not needed until summer because I wanted to give it to the lady I'm making for in the summertime. But I just feel like I need to be doing it now. I don't know why. Maybe I'm going to see her earlier than summer. I don't know. But this is called Little Wave, and it's made up in 4 rows. And I'm going to share the first row with you, and then I'll just do the first row on camera, and then I'll just share a couple tips with you that I learned with it, and go off camera and do the rest of it. Okay, so it's worked up in multiples of 11, so I have 39 stitches here. I chose to do a pattern repeat of 3, meaning I have the pattern repeating 3 times in a row here. So 11 stitches plus 11 stitches plus 11 stitches, 33. And then I added 3 side stitches on for a border and 3 side stitches on over here for a border. So I have 39 stitches. I go to a knitting circle at the local library, and one of the ladies there is really good at doing Shetland lace. And she was telling me for a lot of times for lace projects, you don't see them working up the way they should, and people get discouraged with them. And what her best tip was, even if the pattern said you don't have to put a border on this because the pattern works the border in, or it becomes a scalloped edge on its own, she said always add in some side stitches that are even with what you do on the bottom. The other thing she told me is a lot of people have trouble making their wraps and their scarves be even, like what it looks like over here, to look like on the opposite side, because they do a long tail cast on and they don't realize that the first row in a long tail cast on is actually a row of garter stitch completed in the cast on. So if I wanted to do an even border of 3 stitches on the side here, I would want my beginning, my bottom, to be even with that border. So I would want it to be 3 rows of garter stitch. So she said when you cast on your first row, that is your garter stitch. So then if you wanted it to be 3, you would only knit 2 rows across, and you'd have your 3. If you wanted it to be 4, you'd knit 3, like that. But when you get to the other end, you would knit that extra row because there's no cast on over there on the other end. And then it would be even. And that finally explained a lot of patterns to me that I had been like, geez, I can't get the other side to get even. So it really depends on the kind of cast on you're doing. So that was kind of cool. So I'm using 6.0 millimeter bamboo needles. You can use aluminum or whatever you want. I found between 6.0 millimeter works really good, which is like about a size 10 US needle. I don't know what it is, UK. And 7 works out to be an 11. So I find that those are 2 that work up really good with the stitches. But you have to just try with whatever yarn you have. Just go up. I would go up 1 or 2 sizes from what it says on your band when you're doing lace work. And of course, if you're using really, really thin, you would, like a super fine or a 1, you would probably want to use a 4.5 millimeter needle or a 4.0 millimeter. Okay, so I'm going to knit my side stitches. I have 3 side stitches, so I'm going to knit them. And this isn't really a tutorial if you've never knitted before. I can't really get my camera to show you the knitting stitches the way it's set up, but I will do my best. For knitting, you go in through the left underneath, and then you counterclockwise turn your yarn over your other needle that's loaded and take your stitch off, and it's right here. So that's how you knit. Your yarn's in the back. And your first row you're going to go underneath, left to right, under, wrap over. You're going to knit 2 together, so you're going to go under 2 and knit them together, and then under 2 again and knit them together. Then you're going to yarn over and knit 1, yarn over and knit 1, yarn over and knit 1, yarn over and knit 2 together, yarn over and knit 2 together. And you're going to repeat that all the way to the end. Now if you don't have a border of side stitches, you're just going to do that to the end. If you do have side stitches, you're going to stop. Like I'm going to stop when I see 3 stitches coming and knit my 3 stitches. So you're just going to keep repeating that pattern. Knit 2 together, knit 2 together, that's your repeat. Yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay. You want to just pull your stitches down and finger block them. And then continue to the end, knit 2 together, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. Okay. Yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2. Okay. Because I did multiples of 11 and 3 sets, that would be 33, and 3 stitches on either side. I have 3 on this end left over. I'm going to knit my side stitches over here. And then okay. A little tight on the ends. Snuggle through. Okay. Alright, so then you just pull this down and you can see, turn your work, straighten out your stitches, and again, I'm just going to show you the beginning of this one because this is for if you know how to knit, if you know how to purl, if you know how to knit, purl, and knit 2 together, yarn over, you can do this and bind off and cast on. So it's not really a tutorial for non-knitters, but there are tons of videos out there on how to bind off and cast on. I just wanted to share this pattern because it's really cool. Okay, so row 1 was the action row. Row 2, you're going to purl across. Your yarn is in the front when you purl, and you go left to right through the front instead of under and over. You're doing the opposite. So you're going left to right under the front and then grabbing your yarn and pulling your stitch off. My ex-mother-in-law used to show me, she had like an acronym for everything when she was knitting and crocheting, and she used to show me with purling because she noticed right away that I was what she called a knit picker tosser, which I thought was really funny. But it's people that pick at their knitting instead of fluidly knitting. And there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has their own technique of doing it. It's just that she showed me, she said, if you ever forget what you're doing with purling, hold your needle like this. This is how she held her needle, was straight up. She would say, hold your yarn out like this in front of your, what you're going to purl. And she would say, stab, go down through the stitch, stab, and then you would hold she would hold her thumb there and pinch it, and she would say, stab, wrap your yarn, snuggle, and slide. And it was just kind of funny because one day we were knitting and she would stab, wrap, snuggle, and slide. Stab, wrap, snuggle, slide off the needle. So you're just going to purl all the way across. And then if you have side stitches to knit, you can knit them. And then turn your work. And then the next row, I'll come back for and show you. Okay, so row 2, you purl across, knit your side stitches, or you could just purl across and it would still make a border. But I knitted my side stitches. Row 3 is really simple. You're just going to knit all the way across. So I'm going to show you again how to, trying to get my camera to line up here. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I can do this. It's going to get, okay. So you're going to go, onto your stitch, and that's not working. Let me see if I can show you this. Let me see. Okay. No. That's not gonna work. Nope. Okay, let me do this. That's gonna work. Okay. So you're gonna, to knit, you're gonna go, here's your, you're gonna go left to right underneath, crosswise. And you're going to yarn over or around, counterclockwise, and off like that. Again. Alright. So you're just going to knit crossed for the whole thing. Really simple. That's row 3. There's only 4 rows you need to know how to do. And I already showed you row 2 was purl. So row 4 is just purl across. So remember, in row 1, you're going to, in row 1, there you go. In row 1, you're going to knit 2 together. Okay, looks yellow in here. You're going to knit 2 together twice, yarn over, knit 1 3 times, yarn over, knit 2 together twice, and repeat till you get to the end of your row. Then row 2, you're going to purl across. Row 3, you're going to knit across. Row 4, you're going to purl across. That's all you need to know how to do. Except the best way to block this is to add a border to the end. So if you did a long tail cast on, remember, decrease your rows that you need by 1 row, because your long tail cast on, if it's knit or purl, say you had to do a stockinette border, so you had to do maybe 6 rows, and it called for you to do a stockinette, or you decided you wanted to do a stockinette border. your first row of your cast on in a long tail cast on is garter. So stockinette stitches, knit one row, purl the next. So it would work for a stockinette too. Whatever you want to do. I find either the stockinette works for a good border so far, and the garter stitch works for a good border for lace work. I just like the way it pulls it down. Just really drapes it better. So you're done knitting your third row. You're just going to purl your fourth row. Then you can wash it in like a dye-free, fragrant-free, chemical-free, nasty chemical-free, very delicate soap. Just give it a little swish and a gentle wringing out, or roll it in a couple of towels. Then air dry it, pin it where you need to pin it, steam it with an iron, steam press it, and this will open right up. And just pin your ends and where you need to shape it. When you come to the end, you're going to loosely bind off, and to bind off, you're going to knit 2 stitches, and then you're going to pass 1 stitch over the other. Just look up binding off for knitting, and there's a million videos out here. Then you're just going to take a embroidery needle and fasten in your ends, weave them through, and sew them in, and that's it. You have a nice little something gift. This took me about an hour to do this much, so you know, in a few hours, excuse me, you can get it done and have a nice gift for somebody. And once it's blocked and everything, if you use a 2 or a 3 yarn, once it's blocked, this is a good summer gift. Nice little last minute something for Mother's Day if you haven't thought about it, for somebody, or a little, like a friend gift to give to somebody. Well, that's it. I always want a little wrap in the summer. Even if it's 90 degrees out, I want a little wrap because I get cold. Wherever I go, there's air conditioning somewhere. If you go into a grocery store, there's air conditioning. If you go sit down in a restaurant, there's air conditioning. You know, so once you sit down and that air is on you, it's nice to have a little something to put around your shoulders. And that, I think that it's pretty basic, but it's called Little Wave, and I think it's a really cool pattern. You can see it's got a little wave in it, and very easy. Thank you, PleasantSeas, for such a beautiful pattern. And that's my share, and that's it. I hope everybody's having a beautiful spring and summer to come. Take care. Bye-bye.